So the Celtics go from winning against the 76ers here at TD Garden to a back-to-back road back-to-back against the Toronto Raptors.
International back-to-back.
And the New York Knicks. An international back-to-back. This report is brought to you by 1-in-100. Head over to 1-in-100.co, your online raffle, to win tickets to future Celtics games, other sporting events, and concerts going on around the city. That's 1-in-100.co. Enter today. Gentlemen, we got the Toronto Raptors on the front end. You got the Knicks on the back end. Let's start with the Raptors. There's the Kawhi Leonard waiting for the Celtics. I love how people say that as if there's no other. Like he doesn't play with anybody else.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, they're playing Kawhi Leonard. No, Kyle Lowry still plays there. Danny Green's on that team. You got
Fred VanVleet.
I wasn't going to say that, but all right. You can go that route, I guess.
Vince Carter still on that team?
Maybe. No, he's a starter. Don't show any disrespect. Okay. He's starting in Atlanta.
Serge Ibaka, come on, they got
Serge
some bodies
Ibaka,
there.
Valanciunas, Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, you could go all day.
On the Raptors.
People, I think they're going to finish with a better record than the Sixers. They're not the deepest team, but I really think they are. I think they'll get the 2 seed. It's not an easy team to go face. Obviously, the Celtics didn't look too sharp tonight, so to go
it's tough winning in
to Toronto. It is. It's not the Air Canada Center anymore. They changed the name, but
Kyrie called it Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. So it's not easy to win in Jurassic Park.
No.
But it'll be interesting to see Nick Nurse and this Kawhi Leonard project go to work. I think it's a early test for the Celtics because the Raptors are no joke.
Right.
No, and I mean that's what this whole thing is about, right? How Kawhi Leonard's going to fit in with the team. Is he going to buy in? Is he going to re-sign?
Pull a Paul George and stick around.
Exactly.
Right. That's what they're hoping.
He didn't give the Kyrie Irving, pre-season commitment. So that's going to be something that's going to be a little bit of a lot of it of a.
If he's healthy though, I mean they're going to be a legitimate contender for this Eastern Conference. I mean, people forget what an incredible two-way player he was. Of course, he hasn't played basketball in a year, so there's a lot of question marks there. But if he can return to, say, 90% of the player he was, they're going to be a legitimate team. And I think Nick Nurse is a great coach. They're a really strong defensive team, especially with Valanciunas and Ibaka in that front court. So it's a tough start to a back-to-back. Obviously, they go to New York. The Knicks aren't as sharp as the Raptors are, but it's an interesting 3 games in 5 days start to the season. It's kind of packed in schedule here.
Yeah, I mean, if Kawhi can get, it's obviously in his best interest to have put together a full good season. If he can get the fans on his side, I mean, it's so tough going in Toronto in a playoff atmosphere. And with the fans, being loud and the way they are up there, they love the Raptors.
Yeah, that crowd loves their team.
They love their team, and he's the type of player that. When he's on his game, fans can get behind him because he's such a good two-way player.
We saw that in San Antonio a lot, especially in the postseason when he came up big. He would feed off of the crowd. Absolutely.
He would.
And Lowry's the same way.
Lowry's the same way too. And I mean, I think people really underestimate how important relationship building is in this game. So if the Raptors, similar to what Sam Presti and the Thunder did with Paul George, they can build a solid relationship this season. It sounds kind of weird, but Toronto's a nice city. They have a good fan base. They're a legitimate team. He could totally stick around, and they could be a force in the Eastern Conference for a while.
No offense to the great people of San Antonio, but if I have to choose one city or the other, I think I'm going to lean towards Toronto.
Toronto's a cool place.
Really?
Just based on the city?
I mean, I don't know if I heard great things about San Antonio. I heard San Antonio's
the
best place to go
I just said I have nothing against
I think I would also rather have...
Is it because Drake is there? Is that why?
No, I'm a huge Drake guy.
Yeah, that's why.
So that's why. That's why.
Yeah, that is why. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
But I think, and I mean, if you're Kawhi, maybe you want to be atop the Eastern Conference, towards the top of the Eastern Conference, instead of going to the Clippers maybe and battling it out with LeBron for the next couple of years. That's another debate.
Hey, Kawhi.
I don't know. As long as Kawhi doesn't laugh in public for the next couple months, I think he's going to avoid any extra scrutiny.
He's never laughing in public.
Speaking of never laughing, Knicks fans probably aren't going to be laughing for a while either. I mean, is this the type of game where maybe Brad sits Hayward?
I wouldn't say sit, but I think maybe that minute restriction, similar to tonight, they stick with a pregame plan. Like tonight, Gordon Hayward didn't start the second half. Aaron Baines started, and that was pre-planned. And I think there's going to be a lot of that at MSG this weekend because, again, they're going to be without Kristaps until maybe the All-Star break, pretty deep into the season. So they're in tough shape. And you could see some guys against teams like that maybe later in the season sitting out games, but I don't see them doing it right away.
Well, we'll see how they do in those back-to-back games. International back-to-back. I like that. It might be the title of this one. International back-to-back that starts in Toronto and ends in New York before the Celtics head back here to TD Garden. Well, we'll rejoin you after the game against the Magic right here at TD Garden. That's going to do it for us here at TD Garden.